Previewing every single conference tournament in college basketball, this time taking a look at the Ohio Valley. Gotta love a good gauntlet bracket. First matchup, number 5 Tennessee State versus number 8 Southern Indiana. I do think this game will be relatively close just because both teams tend to struggle on the offensive end. Tennessee State is a better defensive team, but they turn the ball over a lot. And I think that's the type of thing that'll allow Southern Indiana to stay in the game. Southern Indiana only won 8 games this year in 5 conference games. This isn't really a team that's picked up a whole lot of wins, but I do think they're due for maybe a little bit of positive regression. Like, I don't think they're as bad as their record suggests they are. It's close enough. I'm going to take Southern Indiana to pull off the upset. Why not? Second game, number 6 SIU Edwardsville versus number 7 Eastern Illinois. Similar idea as the previous game. 2 teams that aren't very good on the offensive end, and a game where I think turnovers could be a deciding factor. Eastern Illinois is a really good turnover margin team. Take care of the ball, force opponent turnovers. Those are the types of teams I really like in a tournament scenario. They also have Tiger Booker, who's very good. These teams split the season series. Eastern Illinois won the most recent matchup behind 33 points from Tiger Booker. I'm going to take Eastern Illinois to get the win. Quarterfinals, number 8 Southern Indiana versus number 4 Western Illinois. I think I kind of went out on a limb taking Southern Indiana to pull off the win over Tennessee State. I don't really like their chances to win 2 games in this tournament. Western Illinois will have a huge advantage on the offensive glass. They've been playing a lot better recently. I'm going to take Western Illinois. Quarterfinals, number 8 Southern Indiana versus number 4 Western Illinois. I sort of went out on a limb picking Southern Indiana to beat Tennessee State. I don't think that's a crazy stretch to say they win a game. I do think you're starting to stretch it when you say they're going to win 2 games in the OVC tournament. And I don't love their matchup here. Western Illinois will have a huge advantage on the offensive glass. They're a respectable defensive team as well. The one thing that Southern Indiana does at a borderline elite level is get to the free throw line. But Western Illinois has been one of the best teams in the country over the last couple months at keeping teams off the free throw line. So, not great for Southern Indiana. I'm going to take Western Illinois. Second quarterfinal, number 3 Morehead State versus number 7 Eastern Illinois. Unfortunate draw for Eastern Illinois. I think if the Panthers were on the top half of the bracket, I'd like their chances to go on a little bit of a run, a good bit more than on the bottom half of the bracket. I think they could hang with Western Illinois. Morehead State, not so much. I think Morehead State thoroughly proved they're the better team over the course of this season. Beat Eastern Illinois twice, both times by double digits. I'm taking Morehead State to win. First semifinal, number 4 Western Illinois versus number 1 Little Rock. I'm taking Little Rock to win this game. I really like the Trojans' backcourt trio of Robinson, Chaplin, and Douglas. And I think offensively, they're pretty far clear of Western Illinois. Second semifinal, number 2 UT Martin versus number 3 Morehead State. I think UT Martin's solid. They run the floor pretty well, but the thing that worries me there is how their pace impacts their defense. I think sometimes they struggle to guard in transition or struggle to get back on defense in the first place. As a result, defensive efficiency is pretty low. They don't force a lot of turnovers. They don't let opponents get to the free throw line very much, but I think that's more a symptom of maybe a lack of defensive aggression in the first place. On the flip side, I think Morehead State's pretty well-rounded, don't have any major weaknesses. I think they're the better team. I'm going to take Morehead State. And finally, for the OVC Championship and the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament, I've got number 1 Little Rock taking on number 3 Morehead State. These teams are really even in my mind. They played once this year. Little Rock won a 1-point game at home. At this point, the Trojans will have won 13 of their last 14 games. Crazy run. However, 7 of those 14 games came against the bottom 4 teams in the OVC, 3 of which weren't even good enough to make this tournament. I'm not saying the run was fraudulent. It included a win over Morehead State. But I do think over the course of this run, they haven't been challenged a whole lot. Is that fair to say? Like I said, really like their backcourt. I think they're a really balanced team. But I also really like Morehead State's backcourt. Riley Minix averaging 20 points, 10 rebounds a game. We've got Jordan Lathan, Khalil Thomas. It's a really good Morehead State team. Also very balanced. Also playing really well right now. And I also like Morehead State from a process standpoint. They really prioritize getting shots at the rim and shots from 3. Little Rock operates a little bit more in the mid-range. Not a bad thing. They've obviously made it work, but I like Morehead State a little bit more from a process standpoint. I'm definitely splitting hairs, but I'm going to take Morehead State to win the OVC. Those are my picks. I've got Morehead State winning the OVC title over Little Rock. Let me know your picks. Let me know your thoughts, and make sure you're following for more college basketball content.